So tonight is the final chapter of a 6-year-long story, and oh boy does it go out with a boom, and a bang, and a Grimm. Welcome to the heart of the stories we tell. My name is Rob, and tonight I will be reviewing Grimm Episode 13, The End. And before we get started with that, I just want to remind everyone that I have been here since the beginning, since Episode 1, so it just seems fitting to be the first show that I wasn't doing reviews back then, but I definitely have been watching since then. But now the stars are right for this series to be over, and I think that I really want to talk about it in length. So subscribe and click that alert button, because sometime later this week, or maybe next week, I'm going to do an entire review of all 6 years of this, and talk about exactly all the things that this show did right and the few things it did wrong. But for now, tonight's episode we need to put almost entirely behind the spoiler block, because this is it. So once again, it's stop. Spoiler time. The end. We start literally where we left off last week, except Trouble shows up. And Trouble is there to help them because, let's face it, the shit has hit the fan. We lost Wu and we lost Hank last week, and we start this episode off right away with the question, can't Nick just bring him back? Doesn't magic stick just resurrect people? And the answer is no. Now, whether that answer is no because it won't work anymore, or whether or not it won't work because they were dead too long, is left up to your imagination to begin with. And then everything really goes nuts as we get to what it was going to take to kill him. The poison required needs the blood of a Grimm, the blood of a Vesson, and the blood of a Hexen beast. You know, part of me wants to say, we already have 2 little kids that have multiple types of blood in them. But, alright, Juliet, it's no good because she's no longer Eve and no longer has the Hexen Beast powers. But that doesn't stop her from getting the 3rd, oh my god, death of this season. But okay, the Beast must know something because it's coming after Nick, but it's not killing Nick. The stick isn't working, and we are on an emotional roller coaster as everyone is dropping left and right. And it's basically just a couple of people left. And we don't even know if they can fight this thing. Remembering back to that first time we saw it in the mirror, back when Eve/Juliet saw it, and the amount of craziness that comes from the fact that only the little child of the corn can know anything about it until we got to the prophecy about the stars aligning last week when they did. And now, about 20 minutes into the last episode, we've already lost 3 reoccurring characters, all of which have been in it since the very first, plus a handful of reoccurring characters at the police precinct like other cops. And to be honest, I don't know who's going to make it through this. Quick newsflash. The actual Grimm stories are not, well, the Grimm fairy tales are not what you think they are. They're not what they are in Disney. They're all dark and disturbing and teach lessons normally by dark blood magic and or some sort of death and dismemberment. So the end of this fairy tale is probably no fairy tale we're used to. This is a very grim ending. And where do we go? Well, with half the cast dead, they develop this poison. And it's pretty badass, I have to admit. It even melts the spoon they're using to create it. And then comes the showdown. Literally a half hour left of the episode, and the creature is there with Diana, and Diana just lets it come. I don't know what's scarier, the idea of there being a devil, or the idea of it coming for your child. That's exactly what they have to deal with, because this demon is coming for them, and Renard goes out there knowing damn well he doesn't stand a chance. And you know what? I have to say, it was a pretty heroic sacrifice to save his daughter. He said it himself. The only way through me is to kill me. And, well, he knew what that meant. So that death was badass, but somewhat expected. What happened next, though? Oh my god. Adeline. I did not see Adeline falling, especially not in the halfway point battle. This thing is death incarnate, is right. This thing just sliced at her like she was nothing and went right through her. But as shocking as that was, what came next was just a tear-jerking oh my god moment. If there was anyone getting a happy ending out of this, I really thought it was Rosalie and Monroe. The 2 of them have been the couple of the show, even more so than Grimm and Juliet, or even later on Adeline. The 2 of them are having kids, She was pregnant with a whole litter of them, if you remember correctly. And both of them had their throats pretty much ripped out by a poisonous snake. Because remember, he can turn his staff into the snake, and they tried to use the staff against him, and just couldn't. This thing has now killed almost every main character. This thing now has the two kids, Trouble and Nick himself, and that's about it. But then he just stops and says, hey, if you give me the stick, I can bring them all back to life. And the only one standing in his way from doing it is Trouble, which leads us to a knockdown, drag-out, Grimm-on-Grimm fight. But Trouble isn't the real enemy. The monster is. Trouble's how he's going to stop him. Because you see, the power of blood is the power of the Grimm blood within the two of them. The power to bring together everything, including a nice cameo by Mom and Aunt Marie. And then the stick, because it can't be taken. It must be given. And that's why this beast has hunted down everyone Nick cares about and made him watch as he kills them, so that he can offer to resurrect them, in exchange for just that little piece of stick that I'd like to once again call a told you so, because I totally said it was breaking down the borders between life and death, and that's exactly what it does, especially when completed. But you see, first we have that huge fight, and then we get Nick holding the stick and realizing he has the power to bring them all back. Actually, very parallax of him. Oh, I can fix it. Fix them all! But, you see, that's where the episode kind of jumps the shark, in my opinion. I like happy endings, but happy endings were not what this show needed. I do like most of the ending, except for the time travel bit. And that's where I'm going to leave this for my question of the episode. Did you think that it was a little too saccharine, a little too, oh, but it was all a dream, because he was able to go back in time? I mean, yes, I realize that the stick was there and all of that, but it just so felt like a forced ending. The absolute ending, the epilogue, the 20 years later, totally could have been the same, just minus the mom and dad part. It could have just been, hey, we're going. Now, of course, the triplets wouldn't be able to come either, but I don't know. What did you think of tonight's episode? It was really great for me right up until the end. Overall, though, I do like the story of Grimm and the story of tonight's episode. So, like, share, and subscribe if you're interested in hearing my full thoughts on the whole 6-year journey, along with all my other theories about TV shows, movies, books, comic books, you name it, because I'm trying to build a community here. So, of course, I also want you to jump in with your thoughts, because I want to explore the heart of every story we tell, and why we tell them, and how we tell them. For now, thanks for watching, and have a very good night at the end of this era.